y'all want. Y'all want those problems. But okay, guys, enough joking. All right, let's get over to CNN. Let's see what they got to say about it.
President Trump announced that Israel and Hamas have signed off on the first phase of a peace plan. President Trump announced that Israel and Hamas have signed off on the first phase of a peace plan that will release all the hostages held by Hamas and lead to Israel withdrawing its troops to an agreed-upon line in Gaza. Part of the first steps toward what he calls a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. A source in Israel now says the hostages are expected to be released on Saturday or Sunday. Others have said perhaps Monday, although that could be sped up. I want to talk about these extraordinary developments with Fareed Zakaria, host of Fareed Zakaria GPS. Now, Fareed, there's obviously still a lot we don't know about the contours of this deal, but how important a day is this?
Oh, I think it's a very important day, and you're right that we don't know enough about the contours of the deal. The most important part, as Brett McGurk pointed out, is that Hamas seems to have agreed to release all the hostages in the first phase. They had never been willing to do that before. And that is a game changer because Hamas loses all its leverage once the hostages are released. That is the only leverage they have. Israel is vastly superior to them in every military capacity. The one thing that
And shout out to my man Vladstein. He says Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, he does. He does at this point. I mean, if the whole plan goes through, it is undeniable. And then if he can also solve the Ukrainian war without the complete taking over Ukraine, I mean, come on, man. You might as well just give it to the man for 2 years in a row at that point. But all right, though. Shout out to my man Hellbat. He says, I'll go just to see all the lives Trump saved. But hey, some are glass half full, others are glass half empty. Besides, ghosts are chill. I mean, hey man, hey bro, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, dog. I just can't do it. I can't do it, bro. I'm sorry. That's just I just can't. It's just not. I don't know, bro. I just can't do it. I'm not even gonna go too deep into it because I don't want to offend nobody. But spiritually, it just don't sit right with me.
they had was the hostages. And the fact that they're willing to give up the hostages means they recognize this is the end for them.
What do you make of President Trump highlighting former British Prime Minister Tony Blair as someone who could have a key role in post-war Gaza?
Well, look, I think Blair has worked very hard to earn the trust of almost all the players in the region. He's a very smart guy. I mean, he won 3 elections and was a very successful prime minister in Britain. So I suspect that might well happen, and it would be a very good idea if it did. Look, Gaza is going to need all the help it can get. It's going to need tens of billions of dollars from the Gulf states. It's going to need help from the European Union. It's going to need help from the United States. How many figures are there in the world who are trusted and respected by all the people, all the groups I mentioned? Blair's in some ways unique in that respect. He's been working it for 10 years. So I think it's a very good idea to enlist him.
What about the future of Hamas? I mean, it's an organization which has, spent a lot of money building tunnels for years, not bomb shelters for people there, for its citizens. They took power from the Palestinian Authority. Do you believe they go away?
Still need to see the tunnels.
Look, I think Hamas is basically destroyed. Think about this has been 2 years of just massive, massive destruction of their military capacity, of their leadership. The last effort the Israelis made to bomb.
Oh, and shout out to my man Hellbait. He says Seth has a phobia of ghosts. Boo. I mean, look, man. Hey, if I can avoid it, why not? I mean, I just feel like you're walking into one of those haunted hotel situations, going to a resort in Gaza. That's all I'm saying. You're walking into the haunted hotel willingly at that point. And I will not feel bad for you if something crazy happens or you get possessed. I will not feel bad for you. I'll pray for you, but I will not feel that bad for you.
Hamas, quote unquote, leadership in Doha, it seems like they basically killed a bunch of admin people because there's nobody left. So when people talk about Hamas, look, there's always going to be some part of the Palestinian population that believes in armed resistance to Israel's occupation. There will be people, there will be small militias, small bands. They might call themselves Hamas. But Hamas, in the sense of the entity that ruled the Gaza Strip, that has been a full-formed militia, with all the tunnels, with all the training, I think that's gone. There will be remnants of it scattered around, but I don't think there's much of that left anymore.
What do you
I
see
mean, yeah, all the major leaders have been assassinated. I mean,
as the
all of
ruling
them.
structure for Gaza? I don't know if it would extend to the Palestinian, Palestinian Authority territory.
That's the million-dollar question, Anderson, and that might be a stumbling block because, look, the Israelis have been willing to agree to this idea of.
And don't get it twisted, guys. The Gazans were living in an open air concentration camp. I mean, who leaves and go into Gaza was controlled by Israel. I mean, their airspace controlled by Israel, infrastructure, Israel. So, I mean, a lot of people want to bring up, well, they left in 05, 06, and I'm just like, not really. Not really. I mean, if you control all that over a certain territory, did you really leave? I mean, especially if you could control who goes in and outside of Gaza. Like, people were trying to flown out of Gaza and were denied. Like, they're literally controlling where they go. So, yeah, it's hard to really sit there and say that they're not occupied.
Palestinian technocrats, as long as they're not affiliated with Hamas and they're not affiliated with the Palestinian Authority, because that gets to a problem in the Israeli coalition, which is Netanyahu cannot allow the Palestinian Authority to have more sway and more authority, because that suggests an entity that might then become a Palestinian state, and that would, of course, mean the extreme right-wing members of his government would have huge problems with that.
That's true. I mean, no, he's not wrong. The Likud party, which is the right-wing party in Israel, has an extreme problem with a two-state solution. I mean, they don't want a two-state solution because they want to take the land away from the Palestinians because they believe it's religiously theirs. And I mean, they don't want a one-state solution, or else they'll lose that whole title of the Jewish state, because they'll become the Palestinian state, because there'd be more Palestinians over time. Like, they would lose that minority, and I mean, the Palestinians would probably outgrow them within like 5 to 10 years. So that's why they won't do the one-state solution, and they don't definitely want to do the two-state. So yes, the Likud party, they don't want the Palestinians to have no type of sovereignty at all. I mean, to be quite honest with you, Bibi Netanyahu's walking with his tails between his legs, walking back to those two, about to get chewed out by, well, his finance minister and what was the other guy? I know there's Smotrich and then Ben-Gvir. I think that's the guy. Can't pronounce the name, but
it has to be non-Hamas, like non-Palestinian Authority, Palestinian technocrats.
Ben-Gvir.
Now, good luck finding those people who are completely unaffiliated, have had no prior association with Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. I'm sure some exist, and they'll be working hard, and my guess is they won't apply the litmus test too strongly. I mean, if somebody once had some role in the PA, for example, I would hope that would not disqualify him or her.
Now, here's the thing, though. It's not really fair to have this judgment of the Palestinian Authority as bad, or I mean, all the way, or another terrorist group, because one, the reason why Hamas was honestly propped up like this is because of Israel. Is because of Bibi Netanyahu specifically sent money to Qatar and told them to fund Hamas with it. Yes, Bibi Netanyahu sent money to Qatar and told them to fund Hamas through it. And that's one of the main reasons why they gained political power in Gaza, because they didn't want the Palestinian authorities, which was the less radical group, to take over, because they knew they wouldn't be able to get into conflicts with them like they would be able to get into with Hamas. So they literally supported their enemies.
That is going to be the challenge, because the Arab states are willing to support a Palestinian technocracy. They're not willing to go and govern Gaza themselves. They don't want to be in the business of shooting Palestinians who are rebelling or jailing Palestinians. So it is essential that there be Palestinians governing. And who those people are is going to be a bit of a stumbling.
Yeah, it's better that they govern their own. It's just not a good look. It's almost like how people feel like, black cops should, police black communities. Because just in case, it just looks way better if okay, never mind. I don't think I would have said that out loud, but you know what? F it, I'm going to say it. It just looks better on paper if a Palestinian shoots another Palestinian, just like it looks better on paper that a black cop shoots a black person or a white cop shoots a white person. It just looks better on paper. It's not right, but it's best that people police themselves, or if a black person will be a police officer, they should go ahead and police the black community. All black officers sent into the black community. Why not? It's a great idea. I mean, it makes sense. Just like how we want Palestinians to go ahead and police themselves. Why? Because if any other country does it, it's going to look like racism. It's going to look like terrorism. It's going to look bad on paper.
Yeah, Fareed Zakaria, thanks very
So I'll
much.
give him that one. I'll give him that one. All right, but let me go ahead and get over here too. Let's see here. Let's go back in over to the right side of media. I think this is Ingram right here. Actually, no, wait. Never mind. My man Sean Hannity. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen.
Welcome to Hannity, and we begin tonight with the Fox News alert. New York Attorney General and devout Trump hater Letitia James once proudly stated, quote, "No individual, organization, entity, or elected official is above the law, period." Today, those words finally rang true. Just hours ago, New York's top law enforcement official was in fact indicted by a grand jury in Virginia on bank fraud charges. Now, remember, she ran on a platform. She's going to get Trump, go after one man, one family, one organization. And then once elected, she cooked up a wild civil case against the president, asking a New York judge to penalize Trump for supposedly, interestingly enough, overvaluing his Florida mansion, Mar-a-Lago, on a fully paid off bank loan. Everyone got paid back. And by the way, she went with an $18 million valuation, and it's.
I know they try to say he defrauded a bank when the bank is like, what you mean? We don't feel defrauded. He paid us back with interest on time. So it's funny because they were trying to call the bank a victim when the bank is going like, no, Trump did good business with us. What are you guys talking about? That's why that case was dropped and Trump got his $400 million back.
To $1 billion, but according to federal prosecutors, it was James who was committing mortgage fraud herself in 23 in order to secure a better loan and better loan terms on a second property. We're going to give you all the details coming up. Greg Jarrett, Jonathan Turley, they will break all this down tonight, but we begin.
And in this moment, you really just got to look at him like,
that shit is hard. Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
It's like you were just you were trying to lock the president up for years over mortgage fraud, and then you go out there and do it yourself, allegedly, is hilarious. It's like, I'll be real with you. It's like, are you serious? Like, projection much?
With peace in the Middle East, all thanks to a groundbreaking peace deal from the White House. Now, this deal is so major, so historic, that even the left-wing legacy media mob, they are even praising President Trump tonight. According to MSDNC, Democrats, well, they could not have even dreamed of accomplishing this under Joe Biden. Take a look.
The deal that President Trump is announcing played a key part in negotiating, is a significant change. This war was blocked for 2 years. President Biden, who preceded him, was unable to find a way to stop it. President Trump found...
I'm sorry, bro. I got to kill your logic right there. Like, everyone think like you. No one would take a vacation in any other countries. Like, Japan wouldn't come to the U.S. I mean, bro, if there was a Japanese guy who built a base right on Pearl Harbor, it would be pretty damn distasteful, would it not? Built right on Pearl Harbor, and then he left a sign out saying, "My ancestors did well." It's like, bro, what? That'd be pretty distasteful. So we're talking about a Pacific piece of land, which would be the Gaza territory that got completely decimated. Yes, I would have a problem vacationing there, especially since American-made weaponry was dropped on these people, made in my country, supported by my tax dollars. Yes, I would have a problem. Not even gonna lie to you. Shoot.
Found that way by being tough on both sides. And
U.S. citizens to Germany? I mean, like, bro, like, come on, dog. I mean, would you go set up a crib over there on where an ex-concentration or an old concentration camp used to be? Would you go live in Auschwitz? I mean, like, I'm just saying, just to really lean into your point here. So, I mean, you can go ahead. I mean, would you really want to do that? Because we're talking about a Pacific part of that land where atrocities happened. So let's make sure to stick to that point, please, and don't bastardize my argument.
You'll take a victory lap for sure over the next few days, but it's deserved. There's no way that I can see that this would have been done without Trump's pressure in the final hours.
Now think of that. That was on MSDNC, a network dedicated to smearing, slandering Trump for an entire decade, peddling lies and conspiracy theories one after another. That's not all. So-called journalist Martha Raddatz, who literally wept on air when Donald Trump won, even now she is singing his praises on ABC Disney. Take a look.
There's no question that if this goes as planned, if we see those remaining hostages freed and Israel begin its withdrawal, it is a remarkable achievement, and President Trump most certainly deserves credit for his role. He has done this through diplomacy, pressure, and the sheer force of his personality and persistence. He dispatched diplomats again and again, made threats just in the last few days to Hamas, saying again if they did not sign the deal, all hell would break loose. And they had the bombing of Iran as an example of that. But perhaps most importantly, he pushed Benjamin Netanyahu in ways his predecessor and others have not.
All right, let's be very clear tonight. We're not cherry-picking clips. On every single network, there was wall-to-wall praise for President Trump. Take a look.
Yeah, I just need to underscore what an enormous moment this is for so many people in this region, for the people of Gaza who have endured 2 years of war, for the families of these 48 remaining hostages who have endured 2 years of absolute agony. This is a watershed moment. President Trump announcing that the first phase of this plan will indeed move forward.
And there's a momentous day. There's not much good news in the world. This is great news. I am trying to hold it together, honestly.
Make no mistake, it looks like President Trump has actually pulled off something here that many presidents before him have failed to do.
We've heard it again and again from a number of people today, really giving credit to President Trump for getting this deal over the finish line. What are you hearing from your sources with regard to President Trump's role in getting both parties to sign off on at least the first phase of this peace plan?
Well, certainly this is an enormous moment for the world, but also for this administration.
I think this is news to celebrate.
This is a huge accomplishment by the Trump administration.
This is a major breakthrough.
Remember, this has been, Jimmy Carter attempted this, and everybody's attempted what Trump has been trying to do, what Trump is doing. Everybody's attempted it, and Loki failed or fallen short. Like Bill Clinton was probably the closest, and look how that ended out. So the fact that Trump was able to get these guys to agree to phase one is a huge accomplishment. But like I said, though, it ain't over yet. If we can get to phase 2 and 3, I mean, then we'll really see peace in the Middle East, or we'll see peace in that region.
And a huge accomplishment for the president. After months of deadlock, the hostages set to finally come home.
Let's see how long it takes for them to get back to, let's see, racist, fascist, Nazi, democracy in peril. Now, at the beginning of his second term, President Trump vowed that success would be his greatest revenge. He was telling the truth. Now, the peace deal will go down in history as a turning point in the entire Middle East, and it was President Trump. He did make it happen through the sheer force of his will. And now take a look at your screen. He's bringing them home. All the hostages will be returned. And meanwhile, U.S. personnel already stationed at Central Command will monitor the peace agreement in coordination with other international forces that are on the ground. It's amazing news that even, fake news CNN forced Trump-hating Congressman Dan Goldman to actually credit the president. Nice to see. Take a look.
Why do you think that this was not doable when President Biden was in office?
I think the biggest problem that the President Biden had is there was no pressure from Qatar, from Turkey, from Egypt. They were actually facilitating in many ways what was going on. And that is really ultimately how it all came together.
So, I mean, but I think by saying that, it's sort of an acknowledgement Trump has changed that dynamic.
Yeah, because Biden wasn't addressing the argument of a hostage exchange, 2, a two-state solution, and 3, Palestinians trying to govern themselves or trying to work towards Palestinians policing and governing themselves. Like the Biden administration didn't even try to do that. Didn't even try to look at what the Arab nations were preaching for. Because if you actually read out Trump's plan, and when he sent it to the Arab leaders, they specifically agreed with the progression of Palestinians being able to govern and police themselves. That's the only reason they signed on to this. Actually, I mean, the Arab country really don't even care about the hostages. They care more about Palestinian sovereignty.
Yeah, no, I think that.
I mean, he's clearly.
I don't know how he
changed.
Well, the Palestinian side.
And I think there's a lot that remains to learn about what prompted that change, but I do agree. Yes, somehow, some way that changed.
I don't think Biden can have a conversation longer than 5 seconds. Anyway, unfortunately, most Democrats still don't have the courage to give Trump any credit. Obama, Schumer, others released disjointed statements praising the peace and the deal without mentioning President Trump. As if what? It appeared out of thin air? Also, shocking silence from so many squad members who have been loudly screaming of late the war needed to stop. You would think they'd be happy today. And tonight, on another front, congressional Democrats, they are continuing to play petty politics with no end in sight, shutting down our government to appease their radical base. Schumer declaring that during the shutdown, quote, every day gets better for us. Well, I wonder if Americans in our military not getting their paychecks feel the exact same way, Chuck. Now, of course, no one is buying the Democrats' terrible messaging. This morning, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called out to his face on CNBC. Take a look.
Well, actually, there is a Republican who did fall for it, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and bless her heart, I still like her and all that good stuff, but she definitely did fall for the propaganda of the left. I was like, oh, they got you. She's over there going like, well, my constituents and their healthcare premiums and all that good stuff. I'm just like, Marjorie, you know damn well, actually, I don't think she does know. I'm gonna give her that. I don't think she does know that these Obamacare subsidies don't end until December 31st. So they could have passed a CR bill, and guess what? Still have another opportunity to revise it again or to do another CR bill to get the Obama healthcare subsidies pushed through. But now there's really no excuse because the Republicans are offering a 1-year extension and the Dems are saying, no, now we want something permanent. First, they asked for an extension and now they want it to be permanent. It's like, you see how they move the goalposts? And this is why I say they're the reason why the government shut down, because they're the demanding party.
It was an election, and the Republicans were put in a position where they were able to pass the big, beautiful bill, or you call it the big, ugly bill, to then say, we don't like any of that, so we're going to shut down the government until you take back all the things that you duly passed through legislation. If Republicans had tried to do that to the Inflation Reduction Act or the any of the acts that Biden and that administration have passed, if they said, we're going to shut down the government because we don't like any of those things you did, we're going to not pay our military, we're going to, not allow the government to reopen until you do what we want. After an election where the American people put Democrats in power, you'd be going crazy.
Take a look at the contrast. Democrats, they are busy blocking.
I mean, no, that is true, though, because like the shoe on the other foot, they would be absolutely going mad if the Republicans were the demanding party. But because I'm gonna be real with you, look, man, the Democrats are low-key lucky they got such an oblivious base, and I'm not all of them, so I'm apologizing to you guys who can see through the bullshit, but they got such an oblivious, but like they're so blinded by TDS, it's so easy to push BS past them. Like, yeah, let's talk about healthcare premiums while we shut down the government, so we can sit here and say that Republicans are holding up your healthcare when they're not. And they're trying to take away Obamacare health subsidies when they're not, and they don't. And we still got them. So, and guess what? Even though enrollment is in November, you would still have your Obamacare healthcare subsidies because they don't end until December 31st. And the Republicans are even offering a 1-year extension. So, where's the excuse? But thing is, the Dems don't need to hear this. Well, actually, they don't want to hear this because they just want to believe that Trump is bad, the GOP is at fault. When here's the thing, they're not even being consistent. And this is why they're not being consistent, because I always bring up when Trump shut the government down, which I disagreed with, over the wall, he was the demanding party. The GOP was the demanding party. So now that the Democrats are, you guys don't hold that same consistency, but you guys are ready to blame Trump for the wall, which you rightfully did. But now you're not ready to hold that same consistency for the Democrats, who are the demanding party, who want $1.5 trillion in Medicaid spending, plus the Obamacare subsidies extended. No, we gave them the extension, but they don't want that. Now they want it permanent. So we really don't know what to do with the Dems at this point.
clean, continuing resolution that would simply fund the government at current levels in order, what? To fight for free health care for illegals and refund PBS, NPR. At the same time, Donald Trump has been very busy putting together an unprecedented peace deal that will save countless lives and hopefully alter the course of human history in that region and around the world.
But all right, man, let's get into the poll. What was it? That statistician Eaton? Yeah, Eaton on CNN, who be giving these these poll analysis. You know, he's probably one of my favorite guys on CNN. Just because he does pretty good explanation with the polls. I'm be real. He does a pretty good breakdown.
The major breaking news out of the Middle East this morning. We are standing by for the Israeli cabinet to approve the ceasefire deal. It could have all Israeli hostages released within days. The Hamas terror attacks on Israel were 2 years ago now, almost exactly. As we sit here at what could be...
Like, bro, are you stupid? Like, Roland, like, come on, bro. Did you really think that through? My ancestors wanted me to be an educated black man who has all the opportunity that a white man has. And ta-da! Here I am, an educated black man with all the opportunity in the world. I mean, mission accomplished, G. Mission accomplished. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I failed my ancestors. And my ancestors were mostly conservative. So I'm just in alignment with the ancestors. I don't know about yours, but I know about mine.
Be an historic moment. The question is, how have public opinions changed? CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten is here. 2 years, we are on the precipice of this big moment. Yes. So where does public opinion stand?
Yeah, this war caused a historic shift in public opinion on how Americans view the Middle East conflict. What are we talking about here? Who voters sympathize more with, the Israelis or the Palestinians? Back in October of 2023, it was the Israelis by 48 points. Look at this shift. Now we're talking about the Palestinians by a point. I looked back at every single poll that I could possibly find since this question was first asked in the 1980s. This is the first time ever in which the Palestinians had any sort of lead on this particular question.
Wow.
It's very clear that this war caused a historic shift.
I mean, let's be honest. At the beginning, everybody was on board. Like, yo, F Hamas. They killed 1,200 of y'all people. Go in there and F them up. I mean, go ahead. But then when it got to I don't know, 20,000, everybody was like, ugh. I mean, all right, it's bad, but it's not that bad. 40, 50,000. Then we're like, okay, what's the plan here? Then we had 63,000. Now we're just like, all right, come on now. Like, what's really the goal here? Is the plan really to take out Hamas because you decimated the leadership, you leveled 70% of Gaza, and you're still trying to do more? Like, at this point, and now it's still looking like collective punishment. And we said F Hamas, not F the Palestinian people as a whole. Now, some people done went for the propaganda and then turned it in from F Hamas to F the Palestinian people as a whole. But I'll tell you guys right now, it started off with F Hamas, and somehow it's turned into this F the entire Palestinian people, which makes no sense, and which is collective punishment.
Away from the Israeli position in the Middle East conflict and towards the Palestinians when it comes to who Americans and voters sympathize with. This, of course, was led by Democrats, because what are we talking about? We went from Democrats favoring the Israelis by 26 points to the Palestinians by 46 points. That is a shift, John, quick math in my head, of over 70 percentage points. But overall, the first time ever in which more Americans sympathize with the Palestinians over the Israelis. Truly a historic shift.
It's a big shift overall, a big shift within the Democratic Party. What about Republicans?
Yeah, it's not just Democrats, though, in which we have seen a real shift of opinion. Even within the Republican ranks, this war has caused real division. What are we talking about? Well, we often talk about by age within the Democratic Party, but what about by age within the Republican ranks? Who Republicans sympathize more with? You see a massive, huge age divide. Those 50 and over, what we see amongst Republicans is they sympathize more with the Israelis by 66 points. But look at the voters under the age of 50. They do sympathize with the Israelis, but just by 25 points. We're talking about a 40-point difference with the youngest.
Yeah, a lot of conservatives still do support Israel in every way, shape, and form. But I mean, trust me, the younger you are, it does seem like the less support for Israel you have, because once you really look through the entire history, I don't know, you have a bit of a different perspective than the older generation. And I mean, the older generation is not dumb. They know the same thing as you do. It's just that they, choose to stick to the Israeli side. And no shame on them. We just disagree on, well, who's the cause of most of the problems in the Middle East, or who's the main oppressor in this Palestinian and Israeli conflict. You know, we just have different. We came to different conclusions. What the history we've been given.
Republicans being far more sympathetic to the Palestinian position than older Republicans are.
That's a huge gap right there. Let's just say that.
That is a huge gap, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Republican Party adjusts going forward.
All right, the news of the ceasefire deal, the possible return of all Israeli hostages, what's likely to be the reaction to that?
Yeah, I think Americans are really going to like it. And why do I say that? Because just look at the polling. A permanent Israeli-Hamas ceasefire, that is negotiating one. Highly important, that is extremely or very important, 51% of Americans. And then you see somewhat important, 31%. Over 80% of Americans said the idea of negotiating a ceasefire, a permanent one, was at least somewhat important. So the bottom line is I think a lot of Americans are really going to like this.
They want this over. Harry, and really interesting numbers this morning. Thank you very much.
And as the president is celebrating this breakthrough in Gaza, he is set to convene his cabinet for a meeting this morning. He has also said that he may travel to the Middle East in the coming days. CNN's Elaine Treen live at the White House this morning. It seems there's going to be a lot going on there today. What are you hearing?
No, absolutely. And look, I mean, people in the building behind me, Kate, of course, are celebrating this. The president himself speaking with a lot of reporters last night, eager to get this news out. One of the things that he told Sean Hannity with Fox News, he said that there was, quote, no dark clouds around all of this. And he also laid out what could come next, because as Nick laid out, really the agreement that they struck in Egypt is about the first part of this plan, about releasing the hostages. And there are so many more points to that 20-point plan that still need to be worked out, of course. One of the biggest ones.
Oh, yeah. First phase appears to address 4 issues in President Trump's 20-point plan. So immediate. All right, let's see here. Immediate cessation of hostility. Yeah, immediate cease of hostilities. IDF withdrawals to agreed upon line, which I doubt they'll do. But that security bunk around Gaza, we'll see if the Palestinians or the Hamas wants to agree to that one. But Hamas releases all hostages within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting the agreement. Israel then releases 250 Palestinian prisoners and 1,700 Gazans detained since October 7, 2023. Aid immediately sent to Gaza. I mean, who's going to be paying for this aid, though? Because, I mean, honestly, I think Israel should be paying for it, not us. But then again, it might turn into us. I don't know. Maybe the European countries will pitch in. Who knows? But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Gaza ain't gonna give aid to themselves, so somebody's gonna give it to them.
Being the disarmament of Hamas and figuring out, who's going to be governing Gaza, particularly since one of the key parts of that plan is that Hamas will no longer be running Gaza. And the president addressed that in that interview with Sean Hannity, essentially saying that he believes they're going to set up what he's calling a council of peace. Listen.
I think you're going to see people getting along, and you'll see Gaza being rebuilt. We're forming a council that the Council of Peace, we think it's going to be called, and it's going to be very powerful.
No, I agree, though. They should.
So we have to look at what that's going to look like as well. And as you mentioned, Kate, the president has made clear that he wants to travel to the Middle East in the coming days, particularly around the release of hostages. He said last night that he's expecting the hostages to be released on Monday. One senior White House official told us, though, that that clock could actually start sooner, because once the Israeli cabinet votes on this first part of this agreement, it's going to be 72 hours that the hostages are going to need to be released. The president said that he's looking at traveling to Israel and also perhaps Egypt. But I do think big picture here, this is a remarkable accomplishment for this president and for this administration, something they've been working for since the beginning of his second term. They've hit a lot of speed bumps, of course, and different obstacles in a lot of these negotiations. So this is a huge deal. Of course, we have to see whether or not the rest of this 20-point plan can get negotiated, what that is going to look like, and really the long-term governance of Gaza moving forward.
Yes, but all sides seeming to take this moment as a win across the board. It's good to see.
All right, man. Let me go ahead and get on past this.